Hello everybody. Hello my 100 plus subscribers. So today I'm going to get started on this, kind of tricky if you don't know what you're doing. This guy. It's a square body Chevy, as you probably can tell. It's a bit deceiving. It's a bit of this is a bit of a Frankenstein truck. It's on a round eye chassis, but it's got a slope nose front end on it. So you know, the cabs are virtually the same from I think 73 to when they quit making these trucks in I think it was around 92. Actually, I don't think they made a single cab in 92. I think they quit making the single cab trucks, or maybe a cab and chassis up until 92. But I don't think you could get a half ton or a 3/4 ton in a single cab after about 88 or 87. But anyways, they're all pretty much the same. And so I'll turn the camera around here and show you what I'm up against. Got to speak slowly because my mouth doesn't always work properly. Okay, let's check it out. So without even opening the door, you can see how tough this thing is. And normally there's a seam here between the cab corner and the rocker, but somebody's bondoed right over it, and you can see under here the door's been hitting the bodywork here, and it's uncovered bondo. So right away, this is kind of a mess here. And then you can see this. Look at that. The inner is completely rotted. Even before I turned the video on, I stuck my finger up here and pulled out what was left of this. Oh, it's still there actually. So the front of the rocker, see, it's reappeared there. See, so you can see how flimsy that is. So unfortunately, I mean, the proper way to do this is to take the fender off. So I'm gonna unbolt at least the bottom of it and see if I can pull it out. I really don't want to take the whole fender off. That's kind of a big job. And then the cab corner, this panel runs in underneath the cab corner. So the cab corner goes on top of this piece here. And I'll show you that on the new rocker section here. It's a complete stamping. So you can see how the rocker comes along, and then that's where the cab corner starts. So this goes in underneath that. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there is some inner structure here that continues on inside from this edge. But anyways, there we go. This is just a cheap aftermarket sill panel. So I'm gonna be putting that in there. Oh, I'll open the door. So the other day, this guy brought me this truck because he couldn't open this door. Because see this gap? See this, how this gap's opened up here? And there's also a problem with the body mount. So the door opening is growing because there's nothing tying the bottom of the cab together. So it's expanding. So what I did so he'd be able to get the door open is I put a couple of washers, or at least one washer, underneath this, so to move that out that way. But look at this. Gone. Completely discombobulated from the cab all the way along here. Oh, look at that. I haven't even looked at that yet. We're witnessing this together for the first time. So we got to do some floor. Look at that. I haven't seen this yet. There's nothing left. Look at it. Anyways, big job. So I'll get the sill in there, and then I'll have to sort out what I'm going to do with the floor. So just pulled the carpet up, and you can see right here, this is the toe board. So the floor pan is starts down here, and then it transitions to what I call the toe board. A lot of guys call it a toe board. So right here at the transition between the floor pan and the toe board, there's a big hole, and this is all the way up here is disconnected from the side of the cab. It's almost cab time for this thing. I don't know, this is bad. I'm gonna have to check out the other side, see what it's doing. I just went and had a look at the other side, and it's actually pretty solid looking. As you can see from here, I mean, it's crusty on the outside, but it's not rotted. So anyways, compared to this side, I mean, you can see, look how the body brace is rotted away. You can see the extent of this rust, you know, all the way up the toe board there, pretty much. It's breaking up. So you can see why that door opening is growing. So anyway, I will unbolt the fender and unbolt the inner fender from the outer fender, and hopefully I'll be able to pull that fender out enough to get to where the sill panel has to go. Well, that happened. Okay, fender isn't off the truck, but it's pretty much off the truck. So here's where it bolts on. You can see how weak that is. Just moving around. And it's got some integrity left to it, but you can see how. So this sill, that repair panel is going to come right up. And there's a hole right there. So I think that. Let's just check this out here. This new piece, yeah, it comes right up. It'll go right up to, see, just underneath the hinge point there. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this hinge off as well, because that's the only real way I'm going to be able to, you know, that's in the way. Door had to come off, fender had to come off, sort of. I may remove the fender altogether at some point, but I don't think I'm going to have to. I've got room to work there. So, yeah, famous last words. I think that's going to have to come off. But anyways, just going to keep jamming along here. This is going to be kind of a tough thing to do here, because this is so rotted, and because the floor pan is rotted, there's really not a lot of reference left here. So the only reference that I really have here is this hole here where the fender bolts on, and this hole here on the original where the fender bolts on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away all this here, this rusted stuff. I'm going to leave that where it is, and leave that attached. So I'm going to cut from this point along here out, leave that there. I think it'll stay there, yeah. And then I'm going to locate this right on top of that, and I'll leave enough so it overlaps, and then I'll drill some locator holes through this piece into the original A-pillar, and then I'll do a little measuring comparing to the other side, and hopefully I can get this sill, the new piece, at the right height, because I don't want it to be running downhill or uphill. I might have to put the door back on, get it all mocked up, put the door back on, make sure it's lined up, and then weld it in. Well, actually I'll have to take the sill off again and clean up that, get that mount area out of there. And then I'll have to make, once I got the sill located, Then I'll have to make the floor pan extension, because this, you can see the floor pan comes along here. It goes underneath the sill almost an inch, and then it goes straight down, so the sill sits on top of this floor pan extension here, inner rocker piece. So I'll have to locate the rocker, so I can, like with some clecos or some screws, so I can take it off and on, and then build this floor pan extension, put everything back together temporarily, put the door on, fit it, then, you know, start welding. Cool. This has got to be some of the worst panel repair work that I've ever seen. And I haven't even uncovered it all yet. So, right here, I mean, I don't know if this is original sheet metal. Kind of doubt it is, because it's not. No, this has been replaced, because there's no spot welds along the bottom of this. This had about 1/8 of an inch of Bondo on top of it. In the corner here, it's like, look at, it's 3/4 of an inch thick right here. And I don't know if this is collision damage or what, but this isn't collision damage. This is like patch. You see terrible welding all along there. I don't even know, you know, this is welded. It's welded along here. There's a weld seam comes down here. And there's another little chunk welded in right here. And then this is welded down here to the sill, and this should just be this is not factory, this was just seam sealed here. And then there's another, looks like there's another chunk of metal welded right in here. So this is really bad. So people, don't do this. These cab corners are cheap. I don't know what they cost. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, 60 bucks for a cab corner. There's, I don't know, there's a good hour's worth of labor in this thing. Just, you know, what did this cost? And all that Bondo, smoothing that Bondo out, what did that cost? For 60 bucks? Maybe I'm wrong, I haven't bought one in a long time, but look at that. Look how far that's caved in. So there's no workaround. I got to take that all off. Hopefully there's enough metal on the back of that cab that I can straighten it out and weld to it, because I'll make that piece. I've made those pieces before, and if I can straighten out the back of the cab, I can weld to it. You know, I can appreciate a guy wanting to make his own panels, but you know, look how far in that is. I mean, I like making my own panels, but you know, okay, so look, okay, there's like the factory fitment, right? See? And then you go down right to where the Bondo, see, it's a little wider. And then you get down to where this cab corner is welded in. It's like 1 inch away right here, like 1 inch away from the corner. So, you know, I wasn't there, so, you know, I'm just going with what I see, the evidence that I see here. And I think I figured out what this guy did. Go ahead and check this out. It's kind of welded. You can see the edge of the piece right here, and the weld's all mostly beside it. Look at this. You know, if this was a rat rod and you wanted it to look like that, that'd be pretty cool. But it's not a rat rod. It's somebody's truck. He wanted it to look nice. So anyway, I think I know what the guy did. He took a chunk of sheet metal, he made this bend, and then he made a cut here so he could get this curve going, and then he just did some similar welding. You can see the edge of the panel all the way along here. It's not even welded together. You can see the edge of the panel kind of here. He welded beside the edge. I don't know. When I have an edge like that, it's just like an invitation to say, melt me, melt me, melt me. And you just melt it into the piece beside it. So anyways, the only good news I have is there's enough material here. I'm going to have to fix up this weld. I'm going to have to expose this weld a little further up. And I'm going to weld this properly. And then we're going to cut this back here. And I'm going to fold this out so it's straight out. And then I'll figure out, I'll just scribe it to the box, figure out how far it has to stick out. And then I'm going to cut it off so it'll match this. It'll match this box curve here. So I'll get the back of the cab out far enough. And then I think my son actually has cab corners that he bought with these sills. So instead of trying to make it, I could make it. I like making stuff. Maybe I will, I don't know. It wouldn't be hard to make. I could make it in about 20 minutes. I could make that outer skin and save his cab corner for his truck. But anyways, I found these cab corners for sale. I don't know how good they are, but $24 US. Anyways, there you go. So I'm really hoping that, not that it really matters to me, but that this was done by somebody that had no access to the internet, so they couldn't watch any YouTube videos about it, and zero experience, and nobody to show them the way. There's weld there, but it's only on the patch. It did not penetrate to the base metal, or the see that? It's kind of like that all the way up here. There's weld all the way up into this corner, but none of the weld actually, except for maybe right there in a little spot, actually might have sort of penetrated the base metal. So anyways, I'm gonna give him A for effort. How about that? Give him the benefit of the doubt. We gotta start somewhere, right? We all gotta start somewhere. Yeah, so not even that spot that I thought was welded is actually welded. So it all cut loose now. So none of this was welded to this. So anyways, so on top of this, somebody jammed a piece of tin in there and then fiberglass over it. So you can see it's scab welded there, scab welded there. So there's an inner structure. You see this inner structure? It comes down here and it kind of comes in like the angle of this chisel, and then this is part of it right here, what's left of it. So I'm gonna have to make this piece because you can't buy it. Anyways, I am going to make it. I'm not gonna leave this. Yeah, at least it's galvanized. Anyways, soldier on. So I'm just getting going on this cab corner piece. I do have a cab corner for this truck, but I don't need any of the back of it, so I'm just going to make my own because that's what I do. I make stuff. So Just thought before I get too carried away with this, I better start showing you what I'm doing. So this is a piece of 18 gauge. Yeah, 18 gauge. And it's 5 inches wide. And it's about 4 inches wide on the face. So this longer side here, the side that I'm holding, is the part that goes to the door opening. And this is the part that wraps around the back of the cab. And I don't know how much I'm going to need of that. So, and it's actually bent a little too sharp. It's more of a rounded bend there. So I'm going to see where that mark is. That's actually supposed to be the middle of the bend. So I'm going to just soften this up a bit with hammer and dolly and see if I can get that to be a little more, a bigger, like a wider radius than that. See, it's about the same. I backed my brake way off. See where the line is there? That's where it's supposed to bend. So I backed it way off from where the bending happens, but it still didn't really do what I wanted. So yeah, I'll just soften this up a bit. Here's the perfect thing. Square tubing. That's what we want. So what I'm doing is I'm opening up the bend by hitting it right on the corner. And then I'm taking it back to 90 by striking on the side. I'm going to get a softer radius. That's my number 3 son there in the cab of the truck, lurking in the background. He's working on trying to get the radio working. That looks pretty close to that one. So now I got to make this bend in the bottom 2 bends actually. So I made that bend here for the hem with these pliers. Just stuck it on there and bent it to where I want. And now I'm gonna bend this a little bit of a return on this here. So I'm just gonna use this. I flipped this T-dolly upside down. There goes my pliers. And that matches what's on this. More or less. I didn't quite take it to 90 because I didn't want it to be such a dirt catcher. Now I'm over here at the shrinker, and I'm just going to keep shrinking this edge here until it takes the form. Gotta keep flipping it over, right? And evenly. I'll just run down the whole side here a little bit. It's kind of a diminishing curve. Took a tuck there. The top part has enough curve in it already. So just have to focus on this bottom section here. A bit more in this area here. I have an audience. My son is staring at me at the moment. He's been lurking in the background, hiding in the cab of the truck, getting the radio working.
I'm gonna head home.
Okay, you hear that? He's heading home. See you, Gabe.
See ya.
So, if you wanted to, you could easily add this piece, just a flat piece of metal here. Got a little bit of shaping right here. That'd be easy to do. And you could have yourself a full cab corner. There you go. That's pretty easy to do. And the thing about this is this is 18 gauge and this might be 20 gauge. It's pretty thin stuff and it's noticeably thinner. Anyways, there you go. Cab corner, sort of, minus the back. So I've been fiddling around with this a little bit off camera, just kind of fine tuning it. And I brought it over here to kind of not really try it on the truck or just hold it up to the truck because there's a lot of trimming that needs to go on in this cab corner here yet. And I realized I made it way too long. I made it the same length as that panel that I got over there. But you can see how it's gonna work out here. See, there's the corner down there. Now it's gonna fit nicely. So just like that. So I just wanted to show you something on this one here. I didn't really like it because this isn't wide enough. This part is not wide enough. And then it goes down to nothing there. I didn't really like that. Gonna, I guess it does. Yeah, I guess it does have to taper down a bit. I cut a bunch of that off actually. So where it fits on the, yeah, I'll have to cut that mostly off anyway, where it fits over the rocker. I'm going to trim that down right now. Yes, pretty self-explanatory. Got it mocked up on the rocker panel. What I noticed, see how it sticks out here? I trimmed it off enough, I think. But on the back of this, this is holding it out right here. So I think I'm going to have to this is right here. Sorry, I wasn't looking through the camera. So right here, it's kind of holding it out too far. So I'm going to have to rework this area a little bit, flatten this out here so that can move out, or move in rather. This doesn't seem right to me. It's just kind of fighting it. Or I just got to flatten this out a bit, maybe. Yeah, that's it. I got to take a bit of that bit of that bend out of it. This seems a lot less rolled than I think it should be. But anyways, figure it out. This is fitting on the truck. I want this to be flush. So I might have to take some of the curve out of this. Anyways, I'm going to end the video there right now. We'll call this making a cab corner. And throw this together and see you next time when I start putting this thing together on the truck.